Hi, I'm Emmett Wishel from UT Austin. I'm here with a very serious story. Okay, on December 31st, 2013, it was my birthday, and I was blindfolded. I was taken from my home by 3 people who led me to a very dark room where I was shown the following. That's right, the 3 people happened to be my wife and 2 kids. And I'll tell you that the movie itself was okay, but then my kids got the soundtrack. Repeated exposure to the Frozen soundtrack can cause suicidal thoughts in a 43-year-old man, so you have no more. I know there are some souls out there who know what I'm talking about. All right, from the Frozen movie, there was this character named Olaf, and Olaf is a snowman who's really looking forward to summer because he thinks that summer is just going to be an awesome experience for a snowman. Now, he doesn't have any experience with summer, but his reasoning goes a little something like this. The hot and the cold are both so intense, put them together, just makes sense. Now, I think we recognize this as specious reasoning in the case of Olaf, but it's the same kind of specious reasoning that we're actually getting from the specialization crowd. So let's jump into an example, and I'm going to talk about audio recording here, and I'm going to talk in particular about this Pro Tools system, which is made by this company named Avid, and at this point, probably 90% of the pop music that you hear is actually recorded in Pro Tools. Pro Tools has been around for 20 years, and if you take a look at what they did, they took some Motorola 68,000 DSPs, they put them on an expansion board, and the trick here, the goal here, is to record multiple simultaneous audio channels, and also to do effects on them, things like echo and reverb. And so the more compute power you have for this, the better. And so they rode the same sort of curve that you see all through computer science. They had 2 DSPs, and then 6, then 9 DSPs, and then this totally wacky thing happened in 2010, where they finally said, you know what? You don't need DSPs anymore. So you can get a Pro Tools system, you can actually have many simultaneous audio channels, you can do plenty of processing with a regular PC. And again, it's no surprise what happened. First of all, PCs got a lot faster. And secondly, a lot of those really interesting vector instructions that were only available on that Motorola DSP have migrated into general purpose chips. Now, that's not to say that DSPs have disappeared from the high-end recording world, it's just that a niche market just got nichier. So what's been the biggest architectural win over the past 10 years? I think we probably all agree it's GPUs. Although it's not just GPUs, right? It's general purpose GPUs. And there's a reason that there's that GP there, and that's because GPUs are actually become general purpose architectures. I would say they're sort of no longer special purpose architectures, and they're successful precisely because of their generality. They're applicable to a lot of domains, and even though they're only effective, or most effective, for certain data parallel problems. And what's going on here is systems, again and again, trump programs. Right, so here's my question to you. This is maybe someone here knows the answer to this, I actually don't. How many programs does it take to create Amazon's homepage? My guess is the answer is closer to 100 than to 1. Right, there's a lot of data sources and sinks that go into creating that page, and in order to participate in that ecosystem, you need sort of a general purpose architecture that can route I/O, has access to devices, and you see these capabilities being built into modern GPUs. And now that that hardware is there are going to be system services that can run on GPUs to manage that hardware. That's some of the work my group has done with GPUFS and last year's ASP+, and hopefully GPUNet, where the GPU is going to control the network, coming to a conference near you soon. So look, specialization is here to stay. Okay, obviously it's good, it improves performance, it decreases energy, but there's sort of 2 different kinds of specialization. There's the fixed function specialization, which is things like encryption, hashing, a video decoder. These things are great. They're great because they don't need much help from system software. They're really easy to multiplex. It's easy to have a lot of users using them. If you don't need them, you just turn them off. Even a video decoder, which is a fair amount of hardware, has a very simple interface to the rest of the system. The problem really comes with these programmable units. By programmable, I mean that the end users write software. If you look back in history, it's sort of littered with failed examples of this. Or maybe the examples are not failed, but the best ideas have been incorporated into general purpose systems. These are things like early GPUs, DSPs, network processors. And if I might sort of draw an analogy here, when you look at these special purpose compute devices, they're a little bit like biological children. So they're very fun and easy to get. But their care and feeding will kill you over the long term. In this case, it's the care and feeding of the system software has to manage the data movement. It becomes complicated, it's hard to do, it's a very difficult programming model, and over time, these things die. Now, at this point, I would like to just change focus a little bit, talk a little bit about rebuttal, because I gotta say, I mean, you know, these architects and their Dennard scaling thing, I mean, you know, my advice to you is like, get out of your lab and take a walk around at some point. Because, yeah, Dennard scaling, you know, we don't have all the kind of compute power once we're able to do. What are we gonna do? Oh my gosh, we might have to be creative. How terrible. So if we take, you know, what are possible alternatives to just massively increasing compute? What about massively increasing memory bandwidth? What about 2-cycle memory access latency? That would take that would have a large effect on how software is built and maintained. And what about abundant wireless bandwidth? I mean, the best thing that ever happened for speech recognition is wireless bandwidth. So you can offload the most difficult parts of that computation onto the cloud. So I think the future is bright for general purpose architectures and for a creative community like the ASP+ community. So please, I guess, vote no, or vote your conscience, and let's have a discussion.